Hi guys, most Skyrim playthroughs begin with Helgen. Mine doesn't. I'm gonna be trying to 100% engage Sovngarde. So before I even start, I need to create a character that can actually survive this mod pack that has over 1800 mods. So I decided to make it interesting and go with the Khajiit, and I'm going to be kind of a stealth arcane assassin with the arcane warrior perk. I'm going to be using conjured weapons as my primary source of damage here, and I will also be using light armor. For the perks, I obviously went with Arcane Warrior to make my conjured weapons more powerful, and then I also went with Scout and Lone Wolf because I do not want to have any followers. I also picked up a bunch of random stuff from this intro room and also got my gear, so I took bound sword and then some light armor and also a bow. As my backstory, I chose the sightseeing one, and then I also picked up the spell tome for healing, and then I was off to my journey. My journey started abruptly from leaving the room I was in and talking to this female Nord, who pretty much gave me absolutely no useful information.
All right then.
I then found this handsome fella who had some interesting dialogue options, and then I left to the outside world. First thing I noticed is that my character does not appear on the map. This proved to be very problematic because I wanted to go to Falkreath for some reason, and I kept on ending up north instead of south. Even though I would go down the south path, I would look at the sign and turn around and go the wrong way. This sign had an interesting note that said to avoid the bandits. So I actually listened and ran away, thankfully, because I definitely would have gotten mauled. But the unfortunate part was I still had no idea where I was going. I eventually became even more confused when I ran into these signs, which pointed directly where I came from. This made me question if I was ever going to reach my destination. Early on, I learned the importance of torches. There was a random orc on the path, and I thought he would give me directions to Falkreath, but he kind of just scolded me.
That's right.
So like any other traveler that's lost, I ran straight. And I almost got hit by a boulder. It took me like 3 seconds to register that I was being attacked by a bunch of bandits, so I started running away, and these arrows barely grazed over me. While running from danger, I was pretty desperate to find anywhere to hide, and I found this building in the distance. This building was Pine Watch. When I saw the door was locked, I just had to lockpick in. I thought there might be danger on the other side, so I got a weapon ready. After lockpicking for about 5 minutes, I finally got in. I thought the building was empty until I started hearing this voice from the basement. When I alerted the homeowner, I thought I could take him, but I got fucking brutally obliterated. So it was time for take 2. This time, I was just gonna steal all his shit. After I stole all his stuff, I decided to leave and head back on the path. I noticed that all the bandits were dead, so I headed south again. Eventually, after running south for long enough, I saw fire and buildings in the distance and knew I had reached Falkreath. Upon arriving, I saw this board that looked like a bounty board, so I naturally just grabbed every single thing I could grab. I decided to wander around and enter a building, and upon entering the building, I was faced with 2 random NPCs very close to me.
Hello, my child. RK, watch over you. I'm sorry about Kust. He's a little protective of me, and this graveyard is very important to him.
This NPC was actually pretty useful because he could train me in conjuration. So naturally, I just spent all the money I could on conjuration leveling.
Sure, spoon.
This lady decided to compliment me a shit ton, so she probably has a furry fetish.
Oh dear, I'm sorry. Are you here for a funeral?
Once again, I was learning that a lot of these NPCs just serve no purpose in my journey.
Well,
After traveling all this way to Falkreath, it turned out to be pretty disappointing. I wanted to get some use out of coming here, so I decided to visit a merchant. When shopping at the merchant, all I was really looking for is stuff to survive, so I picked up some potions, and other than that, I just kind of looked around. After accomplishing very little in Falkreath, I knew it was time to leave. So I took off and I was headed towards Riverwood. Now that it was day, I could see where the bandits were actually attacking me from. Instead of bandits this time, it was a wolf, who was actually very easy to kill. The path I was following eventually split, and I had a really bad feeling about this separate path, so it took me a while to make up my mind and decide where I actually wanted to go. Ultimately, I decided to go down the dangerous path. I actually got jump scared right here, and you can see me flinch. At this point, I realized how underpowered I was, and it took me a while to figure out how to kill this Draugr. Eventually, I figured out my strategy. It was to attack him as much as possible and then run away and heal. After killing the Draugr and his skeletons, I thought they deserved a rightful teabag. That combat interaction actually leveled me up a lot, so I decided to upgrade one of my skills. But little did I know that you have to actually sleep to upgrade your skills because it is in survival mode. I was super confident after that combat interaction, so I decided to keep heading down the path. I eventually found this chest, which actually had some decently useful stuff inside of it. I'm not sure what quest this is, but whenever I picked up the ancient coins, it gave me a message. After looting the chest, I decided to head back to the original path. I was super confident in my combat abilities, which proved to be a mistake right here.
Is someone there?
Yeah, definitely not the best way to go out. So after respawning, I decided to go up and talk to them.
We are on the hunt. We won't return empty-handed.
After talking to the lady, I decided to head back on the path. Eventually, I saw a bunch of wolves and decided I can take them on. This proved to be a way easier combat experience than fighting the orcs. I noticed that if you walk over top of the wolves' bodies, it kind of just like randomly flings you in a direction. While walking along the river, I noticed this NPC in the distance. When I walked up and talked to him, he just teleported away. Eventually I found him, and this was our conversation.
Hello there, fellow traveler, one itinerant minstrel and wandering wastrel at your service, observing and capturing the epic struggle for Skyrim. When brothers clash.
After walking a bit further, I was very excited to eventually find the Guardian Stones. This was one of my major goals, and I decided to pick the Thief Stone. Right after I picked it, this happened.